Hello, Cold here. In this video I want to discuss why Nurgle as a faction falls short. And believe me, it does fall short. The box makers of Nurgle are both one of the most and least interesting factions in the game. And while I appreciate their cycle mechanic and the unique way they recruit units and heroes, there are numerous reasons why they struggle. Firstly, Nurgle units are generally underwhelming. They are slow and lack the killing power you'd expect from demon units. Instead, they are designed to endure melee combat as long as possible, rather than winning engagements. This playstyle can work, but the problem lies in the limited unit recruitment early in the campaign. Buildings must be cycled through to unlock more units, which adds an interesting aspect, but also limits the amount of units you can recruit. You also instantly recruit units at 30% health and exorbitant costs. The cheapest unit, Nurglings, has a disproportionate upkeep cost, comparable to zombies and skeletons in the Vampire Counts factions. Zombies and skeletons, despite having less killing power, are significantly cheaper, can be recruited almost endlessly, even instantly if there's capacity in the province, and all at full health. Adding to challenges, many of Nurgle's best heroes and lords are locked behind DLC, making the faction significantly harder to play without these additional options. Furthermore, defending settlements becomes extremely difficult due to the inability to construct Tier 3 minor settlements without 3 province surplus, and it is at Tier 3 that you get minor settlement battles for your minor settlements. If you want a bigger garrison, you must construct infrastructure buildings, which limits recruitment options to Nurglings. This makes it nearly impossible to defend settlements effectively, especially since Nurgle's armies are costly to maintain. Despite expanding, negative income remains a constant struggle. Nurgle's economy is another pain point. While it could be explored if some other aspects of the campaign were improved, the problem lies in the inability to develop provinces outside the starting one, making expansions increasingly detrimental. While some players might enjoy the end-term simulator, I prefer to be actively engaged in my campaigns, and Nurgle's economy simply can't sustain multiple armies. To make matters worse, a significant portion of Nurgle's income relies on post-battle loot and sacking settlements. However, the faction's high upkeep units, limited recruitment, and reliance on experienced lords and heroes make it difficult to compete effectively. Now let's move on to the technology tree. The technology tree for Nurgle is the least interesting, with a bare bones design. It's frustrating to see technologies that require fighting specific factions when they don't cover every faction in the game. For example, technologies for fighting against Tzeentchian factions are available early on, but in my campaigns I rarely ever encountered Tzeentchian factions, rendering these technologies useless. Moreover, technologies for fighting against Cathay are located at the very end, despite Cathay being one of the first factions you'll ever encounter. The tech tree needs reworking or readjustments to provide a more engaging and cohesive experience, ensuring technologies benefits the player's progression. Returning to the discussion of plagues, they are lackluster in their current implementation. While designed to be similar to Grom's Cauldron, plagues lack impact and often override each other, meaning that you could have an active low impact plague somewhere near your armies, then infect your armies with a plague you want, and over the end turn or during a battle, the plague you don't want can infect your army, replacing the plague you do want to have. I constantly have this happen in my campaigns, and sometimes there's nothing you can do about it, which can be rather frustrating. There is minimal gain in hindering the AI with your plagues, and there is very little to boost your own armies. While a few plagues have notable effects on enemies, most are overshadowed by the difficulty. The only good plagues you have are 3 of the 5 special plagues. The plague for sacking settlements, plus 100% loot, the plague for plus 20% physical resistance for your armies, and the plague for plus 30% replenishment. The plague mechanic feels like a gimmick, rather than something that can truly impact your campaign. In contrast to Nurgle, the other mono gods have a much better and more engaging implementation of their unique mechanics. In terms of improvements, several changes could enhance the Nurgle factions. Polishing and quality of life adjustments are needed, along with a reworked or readjusted tech tree, lowering the population surplus and favor costs for tier 3 settlements, as well as reducing favor costs for tier 4 and tier 5 settlements. All buildings should provide some form of garrison, not just the infrastructure buildings. Unit recruit cost and upkeep reduction, or at the very least the ability to recruit units at full health, would also improve the faction's playability. You can already recruit some units at full health, such as Chaos Knights and Chosen, but that is a bug rather than a feature. Additionally, the plague mechanic could be simplified and made more impactful. Perhaps implementing 3 plagues that combine on the campaign map without overriding each other, each offering different results. 1 for army buffs, 1 for settlements, and 1 for economy. Combining 2 plagues would boost their effectiveness by 50%, while combining all 3 would result in a 77% boost. The combination of army and settlement plagues could offer bonuses like reduced cycle time for military buildings, combat buffs, and lowering enemy combat stats in highly corrupted areas. Combining army and economic plagues could increase the chance of spawning high tier units, along with converting enemy units into the recruitment pool with the mark of Nurgle, making it both similar to the allied recruitment system, Slaneshi seduction system, and it also being lore friendly. Combining settlement and economic plagues could provide a chance for instant settlement level increase or decreases in enemy settlements. Finally, combining all 3 plagues would result in the God Pox, further amplifying the effects described. These are just my opinions, but any changes that make the technology tree more engaging and the plague mechanic simpler, more interesting and impactful would greatly benefit the box makers of Nurgle. Let me know your thoughts on these suggestions and share your ideas for improving the Nurgle factions. If you want to hear more of my opinions on how I would change the game, please consider subscribing. Thank you for joining me in this discussion, and I'll see you all next time.